Item number 15, Chevron Energy Solutions Program Development Report, Energy and Infrastructure Improvement Project, presented by Diana Langley. Diana.
Hello. So this item before you tonight is the Chevron Energy Solutions Program Development Report for an Energy and Infrastructure Improvement Project. So in July 2013, Chevron staff approached the city about developing an energy efficiency project for the city. They went through, toured the various city facilities, and then in March 2014, the City Council authorized the execution of a program development agreement with Chevron to perform an investment-grade audit, design and engineering, competitively bid the project, evaluate grants and incentives, and finalize the financial model. The agreement provided that Chevron would perform the above-listed tasks for a fee of $25,000. If the project was found to be financially viable upon completion of the tasks outlined in the agreement and the city elected to proceed with the project, the $25,000 would be incorporated into the project cost. If it was determined to be financially viable and we did not elect to proceed with the project, we would need to pay Chevron the $25,000. In addition, the agreement stated that the project had to be financially viable if over a maximum term of 18 years after the implementation of the energy conservation measures, the average annual savings will be a minimum of $25,000. So tonight, there are two representatives from Chevron here, Ashu Jain and Patrick Yost, with a presentation on the proposed project for Yuba City and going over efforts that they did to outreach to local contractors, as well as they've presented to us multiple financing options. The item tonight is really to review the project and see if council would like to proceed forward with the project, and then at a future council meeting we'd come forward with an agreement and proposed financial options. So with that, I will happy to introduce Ashu Jain.
Thank you, Ms. Langley. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilmen, staff. Ashu Jain with Chevron Energy Solutions. It gives me great pleasure to be here. We've been, as Ms. Langley mentioned, we've been developing this project along with your staff for the last 4 or 5 months. We're quite pleased with what we've come up with, and hopefully you'll agree with us. So before I start, let me introduce Patrick Yost. He's our project manager. He was instrumental in putting this project together, and he'll actually be going through the scope for you. So what this project does for the city is it saves $5.7 million over its life after paying for all costs. So this is net savings over project life. And the unique thing about this project is that we are sort of taking care of a lot of problems that the city infrastructure had. Right at City Hall, we're going to completely renovate the air conditioning system, the lighting system. We are doing something with controls for the police department. We are replacing air compressor at Fire Station 1. So these are all items that are needed to be done. And this is a process that we get it all done at the same time. And what that does for the city, of course, it saves a lot of administrative time for the city in not having to do this in a piecemeal fashion, which takes more time, costs more money. We're replacing all the lighting with LED lighting throughout the city, indoor and outdoor. And that is a very long life, so that'll save a lot of money for the maintenance staff. It's much better quality lighting. So so there's benefits there. We're proposing solar at a couple of locations, and along with lighting savings, the more energy you save, it provides a hedge against a utility cost increase. So that's some of the benefits of this project. So I'll have Patrick go through the program scope, then I'll come back and talk about the financial overview. So just briefly, and before I let Patrick go through the detailed scope, so we have, solar projects at a couple of locations, at the water treatment plant at the Gap, air conditioning at the City Hall, and basically lighting at every facility. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick to briefly go through all the scope items.
Okay, so what you're seeing here is a 510 kW ground-mounted solar system at the water treatment plant in one of the aeration ponds. This pond was identified as not being used by the facility any longer, so we were able to utilize that land to offset the electrical usage at that site. So you'll notice that we took a notch out there going to the north because there's some trees in the park there. We didn't want the trees shading the panels because that really impacts the production of the panels. And then the two other ponds are currently being used for backwashing the filters at the plant. So this will offset about a sixth of the power here. So this is the solar system for the Gaucher Aquatic Park, and this will offset about 85% of the load on site there. You'll probably have seen we've done some across the river at the Yuba County facilities. They're the same parking structures. You can park underneath them. They create quite a bit of shade. It's nice to park underneath. We'll have to remove, there's about 25 small trees in the parking lot right now. They're small right now, but they're actually been identified as sycamores, which can grow fairly large. So we'll be removing those and working with the city to replace them in a different location. We will be keeping the palms that are to the southwest of the parking lot there to ensure the circle remains in that intersection. The next one here is solar thermal. We're going to put solar thermal panels on the rooftop of the aquatic park. This will offset the boiler gas consumption to heat the pool. So it's a really great program right now through PG&E that pays for the majority of the cost of the system. We have indoor lighting throughout most of the city facilities, and this is really great. It improves the light quality, and these lights last anywhere from 15, 20 years or more. So it really reduces your O&M costs. So we'll be looking at doing LED lighting for the outdoor lighting in all the buildings. Again, improving the light quality similar to your street lights that you have here in the city. And we'll be doing the same at the city parks. All the city parks will be getting new lighting. So,
could I ask you a question as we go along?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Going back to the LED lights.
Sure.
The ones that would be internal, they do have a longer life, so there's a good savings because of that. But how much energy savings is there between that and, say, fluorescent or incandescent lights?
Of course, it depends on the fixture type because there's different generations of the fluorescent lamps, but it can be anywhere between like 25 to 75% depending on the actual light fixture. So and we try to ensure that the light levels stay the same, so you're getting the same amount of light on the desk or the ground. So.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and then so I forgot to mention there on the interior lighting and exterior lighting, Title 24 has been updated now, and it's pretty rigorous now, and we're ensuring that we're going to comply with the Title 24 standards, which requires different dimming sensors and then occupancy sensors, such as the parks will get a dimmer that actually dims down the lights when there's no one in the area, so you're saving energy during those times. And it's actually a nice safety mechanism too, because you can kind of see people walking through the parks as the light turns on, so it's pretty neat. The next item here is the upgrades for the City Hall. The HVAC system here was identified as having several issues, so we came up with a strategy to retrofit the fan to a variable air volume system, which pushes the air to the areas that are needed. We'll replace the compressor to improve the cooling efficiency of the building. We will also replace the energy management system so that the facility staff can work and see how the unit's operating and troubleshoot it. And you can actually access it from anywhere within the city's intranet. So it'll be really nice. You can access it at the courtyard. Then we also have this Aspen Air filter, which will reduce the pressure drop across the filter section and add, it's a good energy saver and clarifies the air quite a bit better. And then we're also going to put an energy management system at the police station to manage the scheduling of the units. This will actually integrate in with the same system here at City Hall, so facility staff can see both systems online. And we identified the pool pump as a really good energy saver. You can put a variable speed controller on it now to reduce the speed of the pump when the pool's not occupied, and it still maintains all rules for health code. There's one pump at the water treatment plant that runs 24/7 that is in need of efficiency upgrade. That will be included in the project. And then finally, the fire department, we work with them to work in replacing the breathable air compressor, which happens to be the only unit on this side of the river. And this serves all entities within Sutter County, and it's a really important piece of equipment. So that's the scope of work that we have here. So I'll hand it back over to Ashu.
Thanks, Patrick. Any question on the scope? So, so we went through a pretty rigorous process to do an outreach to the local contractors as well as actually local financial institutions, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. And we're definitely not done with selecting contractors. This is just the preliminary outreach. So we've listed some of the people, some of the companies that we sought out for giving proposals. If the city council decides to move forward with the project, we'll complete our engineering, and there'll be an opportunity again for the local contractors. So we'll reach out to them again to see if they want to participate and see if they can compete. So we're definitely not done with that process yet, but that's an ongoing process until we are finished with the engineering. Do you have a question, sir?
I do have a question. Under the mechanical, there were 3 of the contractors that you reached out to that declined to bid or decided not to respond. Is that typical, or why would they choose not to participate in this program?
Do you have any? Go ahead.
That would vary. So Frank M. Booth actually did a great job for us at Yuba City or Yuba County. I'm sorry, and they said that they just couldn't handle the workload. As the same as BW Alton or WB Alton at the time. RB Spencer showed up, but they declined to bid, and I didn't get a reason from them. So,
because Booth and Alton are both pretty good sized companies, that's why I was surprised that they declined to bid on this.
And I was trying to get Frank and Booth to show up, and I actually reached out to them twice to bid on the project, but they declined both times. So,
all right, thank you.
Yeah, Larry Booth, I know him very well, and they did a $2 million project for us for Yuba County. So we'll reach out to them again. Competition is good, so we'll definitely reach out to all of these people again and see if they're interested. So on the financing side, we reached out to 14 institutions. 6 of them are local. One of them recommended another bank. I think that was Community Business Bank, which is in West Sacramento. We even got a proposal from them. So 14 companies were invited. 7 of them did not respond or declined to bid. And you can see the names up there. And so the low bid kind of right now is Bank of America on a 16, I'm having trouble with this, on a 16-year at 2.99. We use Bank of America extensively. PNC is the one who did, actually Bank of America did this Yuba County project. PNC did Sutter County. They're at 2.946%. For a long-term lease, 20 years, Green Campus Partners came in at 4.18%. And some of these, if you exceed 15 to 16 years, the companies want an asset as collateral. Usually, for a 15-year lease, they'll just have the project equipment, the solar panels, the LED lighting as collateral. It's a simple transaction. When you exceed around 16 years, then you have to go. Then they need a property like City Hall as collateral. It's nothing. For Sutter County, no, not for Sutter County. For Madera County, they have the jail as collateral, and the county was laughing. They said, "Go ahead and take over the jail." But they're like essential buildings. So That's will they ever do it? No, but that's okay. We'll work with that. So anyway, with real property, we do it all the time. It gets a little more complicated. Financing will probably take 2-3 extra weeks. Um, as far as the financing is concerned, we have no financial interest in that. We do not make a dime on it. It's a direct contract between the city and the financing company. You can choose to work with any of these companies. It's entirely your decision. We will not recommend any one of them. Now, we have created cash flows based on the lowest, but if you decide to work with any other financial company, including a local company, that's entirely up to the council. But we have several cash flows, and we have to pick and choose what to present. So we selected a few of them. So I wanted to show one where the city does not need to invest any money, and that is, so the cost of the project is 4.9, actually, say 5 million. There's some construction period interest because during the construction, which is slated to be around 9 months, the city will have to pay interest during that time. In some cases, there's a closing cost. So in this case, the city would actually be financing 5.2 million over 20 years at 4.18%. There's some assumptions made by us: 4.5% increase in electricity prices, 3% in natural gas and O&M. First year energy savings are 260,000, natural gas savings of 14,000, incentives from PG&E of 137,000. These are essentially for LED lighting, and some for the variable frequency drive. There's O&M savings, which is basically savings on material cost on lamps and ballasts that you won't have to replace anymore because LED lights have 20-25 year lifespan. Also, on the air conditioning units for City Hall, you don't have to spend any money keeping that up. So those are the total program savings. And before I talk about lease payments, measurement and verification cost, we are guaranteeing the energy savings. To do that, we have to annually monitor the savings, and that's our cost to monitor it. We do it for 5 years. The savings are guaranteed for 15 years. We will maintain the solar project completely. Your staff does not have to do anything at all, including the solar thermal at the gap. We structure the lease payment to come up with a net constant cash flow. So in this option, the city doesn't invest anything, and the net savings are 31,000. Net present value is around $2 million under this option. Here's another option, same savings. There's no closing costs here, and we are saying if the city makes this is from Bank of America, 2.99% over 16 years. If the city makes an annual city contribution of $20,000 per year, so essentially you're making a contribution of $10,000. The net present value here is 2.7 million. So this is where the city makes an annual contribution. Here's another one. This is from PNC. Actually, Bank of America is pretty close to. If the city invests 600,000, then it doesn't have to do any annual contribution. Similar sort of net present value. I actually got another proposal yesterday, and that one has $300,000. It's from Bank of America, actually. So $300,000. The city can invest $300,000, and it's over 16 years instead of 15, and you still have around $13,000 savings. So and same range of net present value. So if the council decides to move forward with this project, I think one of the directions we would like to have is, what financing cash flow would the city like? Would you like to make an upfront one-time contribution, annual contribution?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Mr. Jain is providing a great overview of information. I'd suggest that our finance director, Robin Bertagna, would be able to take the information that he's provided and come back to you with a recommendation with regard to the financing structure.
Correct. Just to answer your question as far as what type of financing, lowest interest rate, less than 2.99, no contributions from the city whatsoever.
That's a little tough.
The best of all worlds.
That's good negotiations, but I'm not. Financing is completely out of our hands. You know, we're not. We'll take your message back to the banks and say that's what the city wants.
I have a question concerning each of these analysis here. The top line is the Chevron program fee of nearly $5 million.
Yeah.
What do we get for $5 million?
All the projects that we listed, the entire scope of work, you're getting that. You're getting a guarantee that we'll guarantee the savings for 15 years. If the savings are not what we estimated, what's in the contract, we'll write you a check every year. So it's completely, includes, it's turnkey, project management, on-site construction manager, supervision. It's a turnkey price. Everything's included.
That's including all of the equipment.
All the equipment, all the labor.
I just wanted to clarify what that was.
Absolutely.
Just a fee for managing this for us. So that's what I wanted to clarify.
No, that's
Thank you. Okay, John, you'll take that? Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have. We'll be, if the council moves forward, then we can complete this project in 9 months. There is one more thing I would like to mention here. There's a change that's happening in our company, and I think it's important that the council know that before you make a decision. Chevron has decided to sell our division, Chevron Energy Solutions. And effective, I mean, this information has not been made public yet, but I think it's material. It is now public, you're right. So it's material information. I wouldn't want you to make a decision without knowing this. So at the end of this month, we would be divested from Chevron. We'll be part of a company called Oak Tree Capital. Oak Tree Capital is has $86 billion in assets. It's listed on the New York Stock Exchange. The entire team moves over. All our contracts are assigned. You would still, if you move forward on with this project on September 2nd, you will still sign a contract with Chevron. That's just easier with documentation, and they will assign the contract over to Oak Tree Capital. The new name of the company is going to be Opera Energy. But again, the entire team moves over. All our contracts are assigned. So you should see no difference in anything. Be happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions? Okay. If not, thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. And I think, like our city manager, Steve Krager, mentioned, that we'll have Robin dissect these numbers and come back with Diana.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
At our next meeting, I believe the recommendation here is to direct staff to bring back a contract.
Yeah, so one of the things, I did have a chance to talk to Robin Bertagna, our finance director, and she's going to be out of the office for the next couple weeks. So it's unlikely that we're going to be able to bring this back September 2nd. It's more likely to be September 16th, dependent upon Optera having a contract in place for us to be able to review, have enough time to review, and then bring before council. So it could possibly be even beyond September 16th that we could bring this back.
All right. What's the recommend? If I can get a recommendation from.
So moved.
Okay. Got a motion? Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Diana.